Social media platforms at K24 TV and as well on our SMS and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of the screens, and share your views on the state of the nation today. But even before getting to that conversation later on this program, we begin with the newspaper review. That is Kenya's #1 free newspaper on publication here at MediaMax. Splashes of shame over bursaries. Images there of members of parliament. That is Caleb Amisi, Saboti member of parliament, Wario Ade, another member of parliament, Paul Abuor Rongo MP, Oscar Sudi, Kapseret legislator, Mwangi Kiunjuri Laikipia East, Charity Kathambi Njoro, Alice Nganga Thika Town, and Peter Masara Suna West. Remember, Peter Masara will be hosting him this morning, and so we'll ask, of course, on the Auditor General, who revealed that while some of the candidates given education cash could not be traced, CDF committees didn't provide crucial support documents on vetting of need learners, while others failed to produce acknowledgement letters from beneficiary institutions. That is on page 4. Let's just peruse to understand more about this particular reveal by the Auditor General. That is on page 4 of our People Daily, which is our own publication here at MediaMax. Auditor unearths massive irregularities in CDF kitty. The Auditor General, that is Nancy Gathungu, has yet again unearthed massive irregularities in the issuance of bursaries by MPs under the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, that is NGCDF kitty. A scan through more than 30 constituencies shows that there were massive irregularities in how the bursaries were issued. As crucial documents were not availed for audit. For instance, the report claims some of the beneficiaries' names could not be traced, while in others, vetting, identification, and categorization of the needy students was not done. Among the constituencies that have queries include the Kapseret, which is headed by Oscar Sudi, Tim Wanyonyi of Westlands, Thika Town, Alice Nganga, Mwangi Kiunjuri's Laikipia East, Suna West, Peter Masara, Northhor, Ade Wario Guyo, Paul Abuor of Rongo, Caleb Amisi Saboti, and Charity Kathambi of Njoro. The question came hardly a month after the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula directed the formation of laws to collapse all bursaries and public scholarships into one fund. MPs have been giving actually mixed reactions as far as letting CDF go. But legislators in studio this morning will be asking them, of course, what their views are as far as collapsing all these bursaries and public scholarships into one fund are concerned. Wetangula admitted that the layers of duplication in the award of bursaries from the NGCDF, counties, and the Ministry of Education reveal glaring inconsistencies. Already, the clerk of the National Assembly, Simon Njoroge, has written to the Ministry of Education on the same. Now, on unsupported documents, with regards to Sudi's constituency, that is Kapseret, the report raises concerns of unsupported bursary disbursement of 28.5 million Kenya shillings, 15.4 million Kenya shillings, and 804,000 disbursed to secondary schools, tertiary schools, and special schools, respectively. That is actually 28.5 million for secondary schools, 15.4 million for tertiary institutions, and for the special needs, for the special schools, that is 804,000 Kenya shillings. That is, for instance, for the Kapseret, constituency led by Oscar Sudi. The report notes that acknowledgement letters from beneficiaries were not provided for audit. The report also raises concerns of non-disbursement of funds from the board amounting to 87 million Kenya shillings. In Wanyonyi's constituency, that is actually here in Nairobi, to be Westlands constituency, The report has raised concerns over irregular awarding of bursaries to secondary schools and tertiary institutions amounting to 17.2 million Kenya shillings. That is for the secondary schools, and 8.2 million Kenya shillings for the tertiary institutions. The report notes that the management did not provide evidence of formation of the education bursary, mock examinations, and continuous assessment test committee, whose responsibility include vetting of the applicants. This was in contravention of the Regulation 21(3) of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Regulations 2016, which provides that a constituency committee shall vet all applicants for bursary consideration in accordance with guidelines issued by the board, and every constituency shall establish a subcommittee for effective and efficient administration of education bursary schemes, mock examination, and continuous assessment tests. Further, the report that is by the Auditor General Nancy Gathungu says that a review of records revealed that bursaries amounting to 7.4 million were issued on behalf of students whose names could not be traced in the list of applicants. Therefore, the basis for awarding the bursaries could not be confirmed. In Thika, that is led by Alice Nganga, Thika Town constituency, the report raises queries of irregular issuance of bursaries amounting to 66.2 million to secondary schools, tertiary institutions, and to special schools. The report discloses that there was no evidence to indicate that vetting, identification, and categorization of needy students was performed by the bursary subcommittee. So these are just some of the constituencies that have been flagged by the Auditor General. And now in studio, I'm joined by Odoyo Owidi, our political analyst. Thank you so much for creating time this morning.
Thank you.
And as well, Honorable Nabi Nabwera, Lugari Member of Parliament, and as well member of the Education Committee of the National Assembly. Honorable Nabi Nabwera, we're focusing on the People Daily. Shame over bursaries, images there of the likes of Caleb Amisi, Wario Ade, Paul Abur, Oscar Sudi, Peter Masara, Alice Nganga, Charity Kathambi. Peter Masara will be joining us. He'll be shedding more light into these. The Auditor General, just begin with you, Honorable Nabi Nabwera. As a member of the Education Committee, on what the People Daily is splashing this morning.
Thank you, our viewers and citizens of this country. Now, Chacha, I want to start by saying that education is the only equalizer, I'm sitting here because I went to school. And I'm certainly sure my brother Widi, if he didn't go to school, he would not be here. And he has helped build this country because he was able to access education. And one of the things that we must accept that in this country, though, from 1968, and I've chosen 1968 intentionally, from 1968, we have not played an equal game in terms of funding education. And that explains why Kiambu would be having 10 national schools, and a big county like Homa Bay has 2. And even those 2, they came about in 2014. There wasn't any national school there. So not until 2004, when they introduced CDF, that in some areas proper schools were created. They didn't have a proper school. And you will agree with me, Chacha, that bursary is just one aspect of education. You are giving bursary to people who must have classrooms, to people who must have laboratories, to people who must have libraries, to people who must have students. Now, having said that, I also want to confirm that bursary has helped many thousands of students access education. From the constituency where I come from, I have 69 students in national schools who would have dropped to local schools if we didn't afford them bursary. I would be interested to know, basically, where the rain started beating us in terms of management of bursary. You are very much aware that even up to where I'm speaking, where I'm speaking now, we have a problem with the new funding model of university education.
Which we'll be getting to actually.
Yes, just I want to make a point. So that tells you that, one, we must be honest to ourselves. Where we have made mistakes, we accept we have made mistakes. Where it has worked well, we accept it has worked well. And therefore, my take would be, from where I sit in the education committee, that generally bursary has helped take many more students to school than they would.
And the query is here by the Auditor General that, you know, while some of the candidates given education cash could not be traced, CDF committees did not also provide crucial support documents on vetting of needy learners. Could it be a way that bursary could have been, you know, or monies allocated for bursaries could have been stolen?
Yes and no. I'll tell you. Yes, to the extent that if they completely failed to provide the documentation, because really bursary is linked to a particular person, a child, and a school. So if a bursary went to school X, that school X should be able to account for that child. That's number one. No, if it is the usual problems we have gone. I sit in the Public Accounts Committee. Sometimes you read a report, you are told there's no documentation. When the PS comes, he comes with a whole set of documents. Then the question would be, what happened? Why did they provide that documentation? And the reason would be two. One is that either the department or the section did not take audit seriously, and where we have taken a beating for that. Or secondly, there was just not enough time to look at the documentation.
And now, Odoyo Widi, you know, MPs get millions of shillings, you know, to disburse as bursaries in the NGCDF kitty. And many will believe that this is where they get at least to siphon, because at times salaries are never enough, considering the burden from the voters. And now with such queries being raised by the Auditor General, is it a concern, something that Kenyans should be worried of? And even these MPs perhaps should not be given this NGCDF?
First of all, MPs are supposed to be oversighters of all government agencies and departments. Their key role should be legislation, oversight, and such things. So to put funds in their hands again to manage, and there are people who seek favor of the electorate to get to their positions, it means they are first going to be most likely to be biased in the distribution of CDF, bursaries, and every other thing. Number two, by human nature, the more you split money into the hands of several people, is the more you split centers of corruption into as many people. I would like to suggest that all these monies, not only the ones in the hands of MPs, all the monies in all agencies, all people that are meant for education should be collapsed into one account, one kitty, so that education becomes free. When education becomes free, it will be no longer necessary to give anybody any bursary because education is free. Right now, education is very expensive. But sometimes you still find people who drop out of school, yet there is that bursary. It means sometimes it actually goes to the less needy or to the wrong people. It's unfortunate that you see MPs are also the people who make laws, policies, regulations, And their voices are big. When they demand something, everybody wants to listen. For me, the argument that the people always go to them for this help or that help is neither here nor there. They have the right to say, no, we don't have it. The government will provide it. You cannot argue that in my home they come. Anybody who attempts politics in Africa, your home becomes the home of the people you expect to elect you. They will come whether you are an MP or not. They will demand money for funerals. They will demand money to go to journeys. They will demand help if they have any problem, health and all that. So it is not only limited to MPs. Anybody who is a politician, anybody who even looks like he would want to join politics, meet such people.
So in other words, you're saying NGCDF should not be given to members of parliament?
Not only members of parliament. Even in counties, we shouldn't have bursary money. Even the national government.
So
let all this go to the
ministry. By Wetangula to collapse all these scholarships and bursaries to form one fund?
No other idea has ever been so brilliant. That is the most brilliant idea. And of course, there's something we call economy of scale. When all this money is put together to do things at once, we may require less per student.
And now we are joined by Honorable Dr. Peter Masara, Member of Parliament, Suna West. Honorable Masara, even as you join us this morning, my director just showed it up on the screens, the cover page of the People Daily. You feature prominently there. Masara image there, actually brought by the Auditor General, where, of course, you are the Member of Parliament, Suna West, and the report has raised concerns of unsupported bursaries worth 24,520,000 Kenya shillings spent on bursaries to secondary schools and tertiary institutions. The report notes that letters of appointment of the members of the bursary subcommittee were not provided for audit, and membership did not include the officer in charge of education in the sub-county as required by the board's circular of June 18th, 2020. Further, the bursaries were not supported with beneficiaries' applications and the acknowledgement letters or receipts from the beneficiary institutions. What do you have to say about these queries?
Okay, good morning first. I'm sorry I came a bit late, but I passed by the hospital. I want to say I congratulate the auditor because that is his work. He needs to do what he is employed to do so that the public money can be used prudently for the beneficiaries. I can also say that this is the first time since I was elected in 2017 where my constituency has been mentioned. But I'm happy if you look at the total, the actual audit report of that financial year, we had a qualified opinion, unqualified opinion. Everything was okay except this. But if you read this one also carefully, one, the issue of letter, it means there is a committee, but it's only letter which were not seen. How Suna West CDF is managed by the committee is very simple and is the most transparent constituency I can tell you. And I invite everybody to go and reaffirm what I'm saying. Bursaries are given at every polling station. In every polling station, there are 4 voters. 1 teacher, 1 somebody from the administration, and 2 people from members of the community in every polling station. How do they do it? In every polling station, they gave resources depending on the population and the applicant. 3, after the subcommittee has vetted in Suna West, they give now to the ward bursary committee, which is there. They confirm what has happened. Then they bring to subcommittee of bursary at the constituency level. The problem we are facing as MP is not ours. It is the problem of the parents. And I can't also blame them so much. In my constituency, before I was elected, the number of students who were in secondary school and university and colleges were very few. When I was elected, the number increased. I believe you followed when I did my last education stakeholders meeting. Then from 2017 to 2024, the number increased by 270%. But the number of students who join university increased by 700%, because for the first time in the history, 511 students are joining university. For the first time in the history, 411 of these going to university are sponsored by CDF Sona West constituency. So what I'm saying is not their problem. You will give bursary to individual students. These checks are sent to school all over the country, including coast. Once these students take the check, they fail to remit the receipt to us.
So it's the students who fail to remit the receipts.
Actually, in my
that juncture.
Just a moment. When this thing came out, because it was read in Parliament, I took it upon myself and invited the committee. Basari, what went wrong? By now, the receipts are there, because you know, students studying in coast, some don't come the whole year back. They stayed there because they are coming from humble background. When they were given checks in February, like my checks were given in February this year, they went to school.
Allow me to cut you short. When we come back after the break, you will be elaborating more on especially the importance of students who are beneficiaries, of course, of bringing back the receipts, and also if there could be means of even sending them via courier services. But at that juncture, we take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll still be having Honorable Peter Masara on the spot as far as the audit queries are concerned. But keep the conversation going via social media platforms at K24 TV, at George as well on SMS and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of your screens. We'll be back with the newspaper review. Stay tuned.